Hey, what's up YouTube? Skybadger here, and we're back on day 19 for another action-packed, well not necessarily, episode of our 100-player, just fun series that I'm playing at the moment. If we have a look at the index nations, we have managed to rise ourselves up into 5th place, and that's just through capturing most of Japan. Now, a lot of other stuff has happened that we're going to have to talk about, but capturing Japan has boosted us up there quite a bit, and has put us within shooting range of, getting up to at least 3rd place, especially in the coming days as we capture the capital and start to move troops elsewhere. So at the moment, we're not really one of the advanced nations. We're down in 9th place, but I mean, if we have a look, all the way up until 4th is tied on 17%, so it is pretty close. So, I mean, we're not doing a bad job, but I can put that down to the fact earlier on in the game there was plenty of opportunities where we didn't have any research going. So if we had invested and just researched minor stuff, like the armor that we're never going to use, we could be a little bit higher. In terms of research at the moment though, just due to where we are and day 20 ticking over pretty soon, I'm just trying to get most of these infantry upgrades out, and then I can get the next level infantry, and then I'm going to flick back over into air and try to get everything up to level 3 before we get to the next day 24. So I'm just trying to get everything up to there. And then once all that's done, I'm going to come back and I'm going to focus on my navy. Now the reason I'm putting my navy last is because, although it's important, no one else has a navy for me to fight. So, I mean, just by having a navy, my navy is automatically better than theirs. So I don't need to be too concerned of upgrading this, although just due to speed and stuff, I really want to get my carriers upgraded so I can hold more aircraft. I want to get my convoys upgraded, so my convoys, of which I'm using a lot of, can move pretty fast. So where are we up to at the moment? We're taking out these islands over here at the moment, and these will be the last of the islands we need to capture in this region. Then I can check some air bases up here, and then later on in the game I have some good patrol bases to patrol from in the area. So as we can see, there's only this one militia left holding it up, and just out of the range of my artillery, so that does kind of suck, but I mean, we'll get there and we will destroy it within 5 hours. Well, probably more like 10 hours by the time it disembarks. Then it's not even set to go into the land. It's just going like that. Yeah, so it's going to take some time. Anyway, that's what's happening there at the moment. So we're just about to capture the last of this island, and then from here I can send them up and they can start slowly, painstakingly taking out these islands, which are going to be a little bit harder due to the fact they're a lot more separated. Taking these out with the same approach you had down here, plant artillery in the middle, it fires, kills everything, then the infantry goes in and takes out, is not going to work. So we're going to have to do something about that, but I mean, we're going to have to do something to these anyway, because Japan owns this island right here, and if we ever want to finish the war with Japan, we're going to have to come over and capture these islands as well. So, that is the plan. And then we also want to move out, and we want to capture these islands, not that one, not these ones anymore. The Americans control them, and we want to capture these islands out here as well. So that's the plan right there. Now, up in Japan, at the moment, we have troops fighting in Okinawa, and at the moment, oh good, that's done. Okay, so that can go in there, invade that. We just need an airbase to split the gap between Taiwan and Japan, because at the moment interceptors can't reach and jump the gap, and we really need interceptors across here to deploy our tactical bombers safely. Although we do have some interceptors up here that were operating from the carrier, 3 interceptors is not enough to provide protection for the number of tactical bombers I have, which is I think about 6 at the moment. Yeah, 6. I am building a few more, I think. Yeah, building one more, and I'll get some more going later, but at the moment I'm just building some strategic bombers and interceptors. I want to give strategic bombers a go. They could be useful in this long war. So that's the plan right there. Use the tactical bombers to clear out these islands, so that then my infantry can capture them and we can split the gap and build an air base on them. And then once these two are captured and we have an air base, we'll probably build the air base here so it's got a fortification. We can then send our aircraft across and they can help out Japan. What's happening here at the moment? Well, I'm not sure if I showed him on the previous episodes, but we're at war with this guy now. Long story short, he thought it was about time that he attacked us, because we'd been at war with National China for a while, and I mean, we weren't going anywhere with that, so he joined in, and things have ramped up since then. Now, the reason I'm still going ahead and taking out the inactive Japan first is because in the coming days, we're going to move back into Korea, and we're going to liberate it and bring back our ally Korea, and Mattis. So we're going to move in, we're going to capture that, and we're going to bring him back, and then from there we can move up and we can help save our other ally who's taking a beating up here thanks to rockets. Although he's still holding out, we can help save him and bring him back as well. So that is the plan at the moment. So liberate our friends and then go in for the kill. So why is having Japan so important to do that? Well, basically what's going to happen is I'm going to send all of my troops in here to capture Korea. And then I'm going to trade the majority of these troops over to Korea. And then I'll have no troops in the region. And if I want to get more troops in the region, if I didn't have Japan, I'd have to come down to Taiwan to produce troops. And then that wouldn't work. So I have to come all the way back down to... Well, let's remove that rally point before I end up with a interceptor at sea. Then I have to come all the way back down to the Philippines, and of course there's only one industrial center here that's really operational as far as I'm aware, as far as I remember, yeah. So that wouldn't work, that would be relatively slow. And then on top of that, we then have to come down to here, and then by the time we're sending troops all the way from here up to here, it's just going to take forever. So capture Japan, use Japan to supply us, and then we can help our allies more effectively. It also gives us a place to base our aircraft from when we launch these attacks. So basically at the moment we've got one more island to go, and this fleet here is moving up, covering the infantry, and they're going to move off and they're going to catch these islands hopefully very quickly within the next couple of days. Taking out those, oh, that's going to be a mission and a half. So what I'll do is, considering these groups here have artillery, I'll send the majority of these, say for maybe one infantry up here to capture this. And then I'll send one infantry with my cruisers and aircraft carriers up here to take these out. If I have air power in the region, which I hopefully should do, I have air bases, once I can split the gap here, I can probably get aircraft up there to help out and make the process a lot quicker. But I mean, at the end of the day, we don't really have to be in too much of a rush to capture these islands, considering Japan still holds these islands down here, which are going to be bloody annoying to capture back. So I'll leave those to this group down here, and I guess I'll make that their next target. So that's what's happening up there at the moment. In terms of our war with National China and this guy, it's been pretty static at the moment. We haven't done much. New South Wales has pushed up and has managed to capture the whole of this island and the tip of this one. And he's just consolidating his power at the moment. Unluckily though, within the next few days he's going to go inactive for 8. So we're just trying to figure out what we're going to do while he's gone. Now, due to the fact he has warned me, this is something you should always do if you're going to go inactive, I have had a chance to prepare my defense, but he thinks it would be better if I just consumed his whole nation, which I'm not opposed to. It'll probably chuck me up to being the most powerful player in the game. Like, I mean, I'll control the whole of Australia, New Zealand, all of Papua New Guinea. I can control everything, all the islands in the region. So I'm not opposed to the idea, but I just feel like it's unnecessary. I can probably defend him while he's gone and long enough for him to come back and get back into the fight. So that's what I want to do there, but we're currently talking it over at the moment and seeing what's possible and what's not, because he does have a point. His point is if he goes inactive and they get right away on him, they then control this whole island effectively again, and they can move aircraft in, and then they can attack down here and stuff. So he does have some good points. So this large group of 43 here is currently gearing up and is going to be escorted by this battleship group, and I don't know where I'm going to insert it yet. I've got a lot of intelligence coming at day change. We have a look. I have 15 military saboteurs out there, and they should hopefully get some good intel for me, and then based on that I can decide where I want to insert these troops. Part of me wants to insert them directly into National China's core provinces, but at the same time that would be pretty hard to maintain. It would draw a lot of the fighting away from our more major territories and draw it up more further into the north, and then make it even harder to restore National China. But the thing about the taking up here is at least then all of our troops are concentrated in one area up here, and by taking out his core we give ourselves a massive advantage. Now the other place we could insert it is down here, and we could take the war a little more slowly. But anyway, like I said, I'll see what our intel tells us and what that reports at day change. When we captured Japan's capital, we got a lot of money and we used that to buy some goods, and yeah. Also, lifting our oil production is going well, but I'd still like to get that a little bit higher. If we come into the build queue, we can see that I've still got a lot of buildings lined up, and they're aimed at increasing it. Now we're going to run into the issue soon where our oil production is pretty much maxed out. If we already have a look at this at the moment, come down to oil, we can see that in the majority of our provinces we're building upgrades, and really only this one in Japan here where we're not, but I'd just like to give that one a little bit more longer before I start investing in it. So, you know, we are going to run out of things to upgrade pretty soon, and at that point we're going to have a little bit of trouble with oil production, so we are going to have to attack someone fairly soon, and that's really one of the main reasons I want to take down here. If I can capture this oil province here, that will give us another pretty strong boost, and it'll put us in a really good position. So yeah, I'm kind of torn up on what to do. There's not really much oil in Asia, I'll be honest about that. I don't know why, but there's not much. I was kind of hoping there'd be a little bit more in Japan for me to capture. There is a province all the way out here in the middle of the ocean, but I think Alberta got that. So I mean, kind of running out of options here for oil production. And although it's strong at the moment, it's not going to stay that way. I've turned off all ports that aren't running. At least I'm pretty sure I have, unless I've captured one recently. Tokyo. Oh yeah, I re-enabled the Tokyo one, so our troops disembarking to meet that carrier group up there could get on a little bit faster. So when I find Tokyo, I'll just disable that. There we go. So I'll lift it a little bit more. Anyway, so we are producing our final 2 battleships, and then that will give us 2 complete fleets. And then I have to spam out a few more submarines just so I can get a new sub wall up and build it up to here, and then we should be good to go. But yeah, in the grand scheme of things, lifting our production as much as possible, and we're running out of options there. Down in our core though, we can lift this by another 2,000 per day, and that's really going to have a massive difference, but it just takes time to get there. As we can see, I have lined up all these upgrades, and it'll be, you know, near to max production within 4 days. I still have to upgrade the naval bases there, so I can upgrade to level 3 naval bases, and that will provide a slight boost as well. Not much, but it will boost it as well, I guess. So I saw some options there, but I'm running out of options, if you get what I mean. So you can only lift your production so high, and I'm slowly starting to reach that cap. So yeah, it's going to be tough. So what we're doing in terms of troops and buildings, obviously I just said we're investing heavily in our economy and building air bases. We have a look at what we're building. Most of the buildings we are building are in oil producing provinces, and I'm also producing fortifications all over the place just to try to lift morale and make sure morale stays high. We've spent, you know, the past 5 or so days, 10 days probably, capturing these islands, plundering the capitals, and doing that all up in, you know, all through the Pacific. And we're running out of capitals to plunder. We'll capture this one later on today, and that will give us a good morale boost. But then for the time being, there's probably no more capitals we can capture. Oh, that hit. How much damage did it do? Good. And then I'll send the submarines in to finish it off. And I'll deploy that back to the carrier before it gets out of range. Although that might get out of range before it gets there. Anyway, we'll see. If not, I'll have to fly back into Tokyo and then... So air base in Tokyo. It's making it difficult. Anyway, our last chance really for a capital is we could jump in here and take out these 2 provinces, but that's just going to take time. So hopefully Japan will build another capital up here before it goes inactive, well, before it dies, and then we can make the most of that. At least that's what I hope happens. Good, that's nearly there, 40 minutes, and then I can have an airbase up in there. So there's not really too much to say in this theater of war. I've pretty much said it all. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn off our map, and we're going to have a look what everyone else is up to. Now it does appear as though Mongolia is still going strong. I thought Mongolia should be gone by now. I don't know how he's still holding on, to be honest. I don't know why he's still at war with some of the players he is, and how he's managed to lose so much of his core territory, considering he's not at war with this guy. That's odd. Anyway, South India and Pakistan have made some good progress, and they've had a very good and strong push west, and they've managed to take out basically Saudi Arabia. I don't see Saudi Arabia coming back anytime soon. On top of that, South Africa has nearly captured the whole of South Africa and is pushing up into the north at the moment. Now we still have inactive Volta and French Sudan, so I mean if he wants, there's easy points there as well, and yeah, he should be the strongest player in the game, but due to the fact he's been fighting constantly for the past 10 days and hasn't stopped to consolidate his army and economy, he's actually pretty weak at the moment, so he does need some time to work on that. As you can see, Syria is gone, but he still has a few annoying submarines out there that are giving King Congo a hard time. But there's, yeah, not really too much happening. The fighting's pretty much stalled out along this border up here, and there's not really too much else to say. Oh, is that a... Is King Congo going in to attack that? He might be. Seems like a King Congo thing to do. He's got heaps of aircraft in the region, so he'd be patrolling over there, making sure he's safe. He's going to move in pretty soon and probably capture that. So yeah, things have really stopped along this border at the moment, and there's not too much happening. If we zoom in, we can see that Romania has a pretty solid defense up in the region, although it does lack some anti-air. And from what I've seen over the past couple of days fighting this guy here, is he has quite a lot of aircraft. He has 31 to be exact, and that's a lot more than I can muster at the moment. So we're going to have to play it smart with how we deal to him. So I had an opportunity yesterday to damage some, but I missed it. I was 10 minutes late on getting online. If I had been on 10 minutes sooner, I would have been able to deal a small but significant blow. So I missed that opportunity, but I'll get it next time. So there is that. I'm not sure if Romania and these guys are prepared for that. But basically, very soon it's going to be everyone on the Asian players. So yeah. Yeah, not much more to say. You'll notice also that he has left this region down here unprotected. Now, I imagine the reason for that is if the enemies do rush through here and try to capture it, they can only capture, really, this Middle Eastern part down here, and they can't push much further with that without crossing over the seas. So that does kind of act as a bit of a barrier, and if they're crossing over the seas, our friends have time to deal with them. So, if we carry on around the world and we head over to the Americas, where a little progress has been made. As we can see, the Caribbean is no more and is now under the control of the new English government. So, you know, there's that. It looks like they're moving in at the moment to finish off the last of his submarines and the last of his forces. And then I'm guessing from here they're going to gear up and they're going to move in and they're going to capture and take out Venezuela. It appears as though North Argentina and Venezuela have finally taken out the inactive player that was here, and it looks as though North Argentina is starting to deal with South Argentina, which is inactive. So if we turn on the morale map, yeah, we can see that at the moment. So it actually looks as though Peru is doing that for him, so Peru is going in and taking out all this territory down here that did belong to South Argentina. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. And it does look as though South Argentina, Peru, and Venezuela have aligned themselves together. And I think that's probably a good move if they want to stand any chance against the North Americans, who already have a foothold in their territory. So it's good to see that, I guess. There's an industrial center out there. What a weird place to build troops. So we've basically been around the world, and I don't feel like there's too much more to say. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.